What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel, Default Focus. My name is Junior Fault. I'm a freelance photographer out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and this is my new YouTube channel. Well, as a freelance photographer, I've been getting a lot of questions about the equipment I use and where I get my stuff at. So, one question that came across my Instagram DMs was, do I believe the Canon EF 17-40 is still worth it in 2025? I think the Canon EF 17-40 is very much worth it, especially if you're someone who's looking to save some money on an L series lens. I use mine for a wide range of shots, from weddings to outdoor portraits, landscapes, and even architecture shots. I use mine on travel just because it's a super light carry, and I love having this little guy in my bag. It's super easy to pop out, and I like using it with the Canon EOS R5. All right, so as most of you guys know, because it's in the name, this is a f4 lens. It is an L series lens, so it's got a bit of better glass than your regular. I like to use mine for a wide range of shots. I use mine at weddings. I think this comes out in every single wedding that I've done this past year. I've had this guy pop out. I like to take a certain shot. It's called the selfie shot. I'll throw it up here for you guys. So shots like this, I always use this camera for. It's a real cool shot. It gets pretty wide. I will say, in my experience though, I do often wish that I had a 2.8 aperture lens instead of a f4, just because I am forced to push the ISO, or I am forced to, boost and use flash when I might not need to. But yeah, overall it's a great lens. So that's such a small complaint to have, in my opinion. This lens could be a much heavier lens. It could weigh the same amount as my 28-70 or an 85 prime, and luckily it just doesn't. So it's not a hassle to carry around, not a hassle to pull out. Another pro I would say about this lens is that it's very cost effective. I spent $200 on this lens, and when I was checking it out today, it looks like you can buy it on KEH for $249. So for an L series lens, that's really inexpensive. You're gonna of course have to pair this, if shooting mirrorless, you're gonna have to pair this lens here with a EF to RF adapter, which will run you $100. But I mean, if you're watching this video and you have a mirrorless camera, I'm sure you already have one, right? So let's talk about the sharpness. I think the sharpness on this lens is honestly not bad at all. I think for what you're paying for, and for a lens from 2003 shooting at f4, it does its job. It really does hold up its end. When I put this in an album with pictures that are with the 28-70 or the 51-2, I don't see a difference right away. I think this is honestly a steal. I got this for $200. You can find it on KEH right now for about $240. And that compared to, I guess, what would be a direct comparison or just a bit better version being the 16-35 2.8, that's about $400 to $500 used. And I saw it for $600. I want to say it was $620 on KEH. That's US dollars. Don't quote me exactly, but around that price range. In terms of sharpness, I believe that this does hold its end up. I use this at weddings. I use this for portraits. I use this at events. I use this for cars. I, in fact, love using this for roller shots and some B-roll shots. I've used this in gyms, and I think the sharpness has been up to par. Of course, it is an older lens. This came out in 2003, but it is an L series lens, so it has lasted a while. It is weatherproof, water resistant. So I mean, the glass is pretty shielded and it lasts a while. I will say it's definitely not as sharp as, some newer lens like the 28-70 RF. It's I use that at weddings as well. It's not as sharp as that lens is, but this does do a great job. This photo here is a photo of the pagoda in Reading, Pennsylvania, that I shot at 17 millimeters. I shot that at 17 millimeters. Here is another shot, and this was a closer up shot that I did at a wedding. This was of kind of the cake cutter. So as you can see, there is some good detail in those. Here's a creative shot that I did. It's a more wide shot. This right here, I added some grain. So this is the edited photo that I did, and it's this is just to show you what kind of versatility you get with this lens. So I like doing a lot of creative portraits. I've done some in Tennessee. This was my girlfriend here, and I was able to shoot a wide angle shot of her. It was super creative. I just saw it and I knew I could fit it all in the photo with this lens. You could really capture an entire room. Like in this photo here, I stood in the front, captured pretty much the entire classroom. And this was a creative shoot that I did. It was called Afro Detention. I like this because I was able to just get everything in one shot. I also used this one at football games. I shot for Westchester and they were playing Cal U, and I was able to get a real cool coin toss shot here. You can even see on the back of the helmet how it says family, and you can see they're playing Cal U Vulcans. As you can see in this shot here, this is actually a shot of me. My girlfriend took this one, but you can see the entire building in the back of the shot there. With this being f4, you get a lot of detail in shots. Like here's this shot here that I did during my buddy's graduation shoot. He was puffing a cigar and I saw the smoke and I just shot it, and I was like, wow, okay, I did not expect this lens to capture the smoke in the way it did. So in terms of video capability, I'm not big on videography, but here's a couple shots of, you know, just some b-roll and panning shots of the 17-40 with the R5. Now the lens doesn't have image stabilization, but the R5 does have 8 stops of IBIS, so that helps out a bit. In conclusion, for a lens that's 22 years old, I think this is an amazing budget option for any freelance photographer. Like I said, I use it at weddings, I use it at football games, basketball games. I use it for a wide variety of things. I like this for a lot of creative work. I even use it for professional work myself. But if you're someone who has the money to spend, maybe get the 16-35 2.8. You get a faster lens that way. But if you've got a bigger budget and you want a newer lens, the Canon RF 15-35 is an amazing option. I think you'll love that lens even more than this one. But again, there's nothing wrong with this lens. I love this little guy, and I would refer it to anyone that's getting into photography or looking for a wide angle lens and not looking to break the bank. Thanks you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I got a bunch more content coming for you soon.